Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Build on the P51D Mustang. Right now I am getting ready to put down a small layer of grey primer for the inside of the cockpit. As you guys know, in the last video update I told you that I have the cockpit assembled, which I do. Forgive the noise of the compressor. It's a eBay cheapie that always stays on, doesn't have a tank or anything, so and I'm only doing about 20-25 psi, not much, and what I'm doing is I'm spraying the interior simply because the better atomization, typically a little bit dirty, and that's because we are getting ready to paint the cockpit first. So what I'm doing is I'm hitting up the entire inside of the plane, not the outside, just the inside. Another quick coat here in the center, like so. Got to get every nook and cranny, every cranny and nook, however you want to pronounce it. And we've got a little bit of primer left. What I'm going to do with that primer is I am most likely going to grab the wings quickly. So I'll be right back. Oh, without trying to move the tripod down. There we go. So let's grab the wings. Thank you, compressor. I love you too. Cockpit. And let's get those based, shall we? Preferably without knocking everything all over the place there, Dan. Now, I don't have my compressor turned, my internal fans turned on, simply because I felt that they weren't needed. It's only acrylic we're using, we're not using anything really toxic, so I'm just going to paint the internal wheel wells with a primer. This is German grey-green primer, a custom mix I did myself. It's the base grey that most German tanks left the factories in, then to be camouflaged by their crew prior to be sent out into the field. Now I'm just doing certain areas that I want coverage in first. Now, I'm going to try and do this plane and fly. So I'm going to have to do a lot of modifications to the model kit, because the kit itself is designed to not be in flight but actually taxiing on the runway. So we are going to have to modify the kit just a wee bit, which really isn't a problem. There's the machine gun ammunition. Now you can afford to be a little bit more generous. I believe that's the only thing on that set that needed to be primed. I'm priming it just in the off chance that I may want to change the model's outlook at a later stage. Now I normally say always put the needle back on your airbrush, because you never know if it's going to fall off and you don't want to stub your needle, especially if you don't have a replacement needle, unfortunately, which I don't. This is the actual replacement needle, stock needle I had was bent. So let's prime the cockpit. Now of course the cockpit will be getting some more details, as I said. I'll go into that in a whole lot more detail at a later stage. This is just our primer. I do plan on hand painting certain details like the seat belts and stuff. The seats, I believe, are a oxidized red or an orange, depending on who flew it, Marines or Air Force or whoever. Of course, we are doing the P51D5 Mustang on this, and I may just narrate over this, but so just trying to get as much of the primer down as I can. Not bad for a homemade primer, huh? And I know most people aren't going to see the underside, but I like to prime that too. There we go. Had a bit of a dirty tip. What I may do is take a break in the Let's Build videos and do a video on making your own actual airbrush paints, because it's starting to get a little bit thick now, so I'm going to have to grab my thinner, my homemade thinner. Which is in these nice little dropper bottles. So I just need a few drops for a shake. I know normally you're supposed to use like a cocktail stick or whatever to stir her up. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting it back. So it's just a couple of drops of thinner. There, and the bulk of our cockpit is primed. Now of course we're going to miss a bit where we're held it, but that's fine. I may actually get the pilot and prime him too. There is a pilot in this model kit, still on the sprue, as you can see. Now I have gone ahead and, excuse the squeaky chair, gone ahead and pre-washed the kit. I may throw just a quick primer down and then actually clean it up when I'm done. And don't forget, guys, you know, you can always check us out on Google+. The Amazing Plastic forum, group forum. There it is. Yeah, the feet on this model are horrible, but it's not like we're going to be seeing the feet. But I still take great care in the whole model, you know. And as I said, guys, I'll probably be finishing off my Dark Angels army first. My 40k Dark Angels army next after this, and then I'll be working on my Chaos army. I may even get a battle or two in, but don't hold your breath there. There, our pilot is primed, with the exceptions, of course, where he needs to be de-sprued and cleaned up because of his mold lines. Then I'll go over him again once he's assembled. But this is just the base primer to see how the plastic reacted to the primer. It actually quite reacts pretty nicely. If we can do a quick zoom in there, if you will. See? It's actually reacting quite nicely to the homemade primer. Let's check the insides. Okay, yeah, so yeah, you're nice and the paint's dried at the touch, but as you can see here with our finger, she's still quite powdery, so I've got to wait about an hour for that to skin over. While that's going to happen, I'm going to look at adding a little bit more details to the internal of the cockpit. The seat belts, maybe build those out of some paper. I'm going to finish off where I missed. The other side. Just quickly. Some quick dust. And there we go. The major parts of the plane that are going to be receiving most of the amount of detail. Most notably the side walls, because I do have the yellows, as you can see, and the greens. So I will be that's my forest foliage green yellow. I'll be multi-layering it over greens and yellows for the cockpit. Then I will most likely get ready to mask off the entire canopy, the fuselage I should say, and prime the outside. Once the wings and that are attached, I will prime it, and then I will bust out the silver paint that I like to use, which is from Krylon, believe it or not. Krylon now actually have a modeling brand of aerosol paints, and in fact, you know, I may do a quick sample spray of that in a little while. Of course, get it on video for you guys for another episode maybe. And I'm going to end this episode here, and I will see you in the next part, hopefully with the plane somewhat starting to resemble a P51D 5 Mustang. So as always, guys, from my bench to yours, take care, and I'll see you all on the far side.